Hello and welcome back to Sovl. So this is a bit of a quick series, I guess, because we only have this random event and then we have, a single battle, and then we're going to search for these guys because that always gives us an upgrade, doesn't it? Yeah, level up. There we go. Very nice. And yeah, additional skill. So that's very nice. So let's go for an elite fight because yeah, we don't have many fights left, do we? Before the Act 2 boss. And then let's see what the enemies have. So yeah, we're really lucky again because the enemies only have flying machines and cannons that can't really shoot long range. So it's again very lucky for us, isn't it? So yeah, I'm just gonna casually get rid of these berserkers because they're kind of like the closest unit that I have to worry about. Everything else kind of further away, so I don't have to deal with it until later. So that's very cool. I'm definitely going to take advantage of this. I probably should have moved this cannon up slightly, maybe not. I don't think it matters at this point. So there we go, and now let's see, I can shoot the dwarf engineer. That's very cool. He is in the forest, but I don't think he gets any of the bonuses because he's above the forest rather than in the forest. So yeah, that's a really interesting thing, I guess. Just going to shoot this dwarf berserker unit, try to get rid of some of them. So while I'm here, I would like to talk about, I guess, SpaceX. And I specifically wanted to talk about the fact that SpaceX has, they've successfully landed a rocket booster. SpaceX has launched a rocket into outer space, and basically they've landed a rocket booster, which is really cool because, it's a really expensive part of technology, I guess. And it's just really nice to land something like that because it saves a lot of money, and, it has a lot of future uses. So stuff like that is always really interesting to read about and to, watch. I don't think he can shoot me, no he can't. That's really lucky that he's just barely out of range. So very nice indeed. Oh, this guy can probably shoot us. Yeah, okay, that's gonna hurt. Come on, save it. No. Ooh, well, yep. As always, the Imperial Halberds are in fact an absolutely, unit that just, a meat shield, I guess. They are the definition of a meat shield. They just always get beaten up by anything and everything. So yeah, the confirmed charges. Cool. Okay, yeah, let's use these mortars on the dwarf miners, try to get rid of them. Do they have blasting charges? Yeah, they do, so yeah, that's a D6 right there that, hopefully try to get rid of. Hopefully try to, not let them use whatsoever, so very nice. Maybe I can even charge them in the side with the halberds. We'll have to see, won't we? But luckily, we don't have to deal with any of the cannons, because the cannons can continue staying back there. As long as they get rid of all of these guys, then we'll be fine. It's very nice indeed. I'll just shoot on the dwarf miners, I guess, because I don't really want to go after the flying machine all the way back there. I'm trying to use the cannon on it. It's not really my job. Try to fire the fireball on the flying machine and hope that it does enough damage to get rid of it. So yeah, do something like this, move up. Cool, there we go. Very nice. Okay, so it looks like the flying machine is in fact not going to come up to us, so that's a bit of a problem, isn't it? That's fine, I'm just going to fire on the berserkers. Okay, right then. So yeah, really important that we basically reuse these materials because it's going to make future rocket launches a lot cheaper. It's going to help out, it's basically really interesting how they did it as well, because instead of like landing it on the ground or doing what NASA does where they just basically crash land it in the ocean, SpaceX has actually been able to land the rocket booster separately on the same landing pad that the rocket launched off from, and they were also able to close the arms that kept the rocket stable on the rocket booster. So that was really cool. It's a really big leap. That's why it was so amazing. Not only did they catch it, they caught it in the exact same place they launched from. And yeah, it was just amazing. It was quite literally magical to watch it happen. So yeah, if you want to go and watch that after this video, I would definitely recommend that you go and do it because it was just kind of crazy, I'm not going to lie. No, it's definitely a big leap forward from just crash landing it somewhere in the ocean. Because crash landing it in the ocean like NASA does is really expensive because then you have to send someone out to go and get it, and then after they basically go and get it, you have to, you have to drag it out of there and, have to repair it from all the water damage as well. And yeah, it's just a lot more expensive than just throwing it, basically landing it on a launch pad and throwing it, a coat of paint back on top of it and then setting it back off into outer space. So that's probably overly simplified, isn't it? Because yeah, you can't just throw a new coat of paint on it, but it's a lot easier than just having to repair, salt water damage and stuff like that. That's a lot more problematic. So, and yeah, it's just really amazing. So what else have I got to talk about? So yeah, Amazon and their AI. Amazon wants to basically use AI to get rid of most of its tech website engineers and stuff like that. So they're not planning on getting rid of everyone, but it is kind of they are planning on getting rid of most people in their, website engineers and stuff like that. Stuff that AI can now do, so, basic coding and stuff like that. Now, obviously, the problems within the system will remain, so some people will obviously still have a job, but the large majority are, in fact, potentially at a loss of a job, which is, it finally came for the blue-collar workers. That's what AI did. And, all these builders and stuff like that, they're not being replaced. Although, with the recent Boston Dynamic robots and stuff like that, these blue, working jobs might just go the way of the blue-collar job, where it's just like, you have people in tech, they're being replaced, and soon we're going to have Boston Dynamic robots replacing ordinary people. Because there was that demo of like an Amazon robot that basically was supposed to replace the people sorting packages, and then after 24-hour showcase, the robots just straight up folded in on themselves, and that was in prime conditions as well. But Boston Dynamics has their own robots, so it's going to be slightly more different. And yeah, it's obviously I'm not gonna charge into the enemies, so I'm just gonna fire off a bunch of my shells, I guess, into these berserkers and hopefully get rid of them. But yeah, Boston Dynamics has recently had a really interesting robot showcase, and yeah, it's definitely quite scary, that's for sure. Yeah, the robot was the new iteration of the humanoid robots, and yeah, it basically has 360-degree movement of its limbs, almost 360 degrees movement of its limbs. Pretty sure, like any robot, it can't exactly spin its limbs multiple times around, but it can definitely like go from like a forward-facing position to a backward-facing position to a forward-facing position by moving clockwise. Something like that is just really interesting, I guess. Protect the crew on the cannon, and no, it doesn't protect it. There you go, cool. Hopefully this is enough to get rid of the cannon and help make the enemies fully rout, because just taking a while to get through them. It's really interesting how far technology has just gone. So yeah, I guess the main problem with using AI, in my opinion, is the fact that if you have any sort of error in the system, it just progressively gets worse because the AI builds in on itself. So if there's like a backdoor somewhere, the AI doesn't know how to close it because it was never really taught how to close it, which is why Amazon will probably retain some of their people, in order to kind of keep these backdoors from being, I guess, fully exploited, which is definitely a really big issue in the tech sector. There's been multiple cases of like espionage and stuff like that, where companies like in China will try to steal company secrets from American companies and stuff like that. So yeah, why not ignore penalties for terrain? I don't know how useful that would be, I'm going to be honest. It's not really on my priority list, but yeah, sure, why not? Recruited units gain an additional level. Why not? Because it's not like I get an upgrade for any spells, so I might as well try. Oh, cool, dragon. Dragon, nice. There we go, 6 skill, that's really nice, and I should get multiple upgrades over here, that's really nice, and then maybe another one, no. Radiant shield, yeah, that's cool, that's really nice, and then divine favor, yeah, sure, why not? This is really nice, I'll get divine favor. Barding, yeah, plus 1 defense, which is really nice, and it also, on the dragon, doesn't get rid of their movement speed, because on the griffin and on the manticore, it's -1 movement as well as +1 armor. Oh, no, I guess they fixed it. Yeah, they changed it, because it used to give you -1 movement. It still does that on the flying machine for the dwarfs, but it looks like they fixed it for these, animal units, I guess. It doesn't get rid of their movement range. That's really interesting. I'll give myself a vitality as well, why not? Cool, and save the rest for maybe the next stage, I guess, Act 3. Very nice indeed. So deal with the, XPs and stuff like that. Since we can't, since we're all basically fully healed up, yeah, get a +1 hit. So yeah, why not? Might as well try that, and then let's do additional attack on the griffin. Very nice. Let's go, Act 2 boss. Right then, let's see what I can do. So basically, as you can see, I built myself a little, hidey hole over here. Yeah, the elf mage is going to be a bit of a problem, but we'll see if I can, kind of get rid of him with all of my cannons and stuff like that. Okay, that's a bit unfortunate that the elf chariot survived that, I guess. So I can continue shooting it with all these other, I guess, siege weapons, and then hopefully, yeah, there we go. That's very nice. Got rid of it. So these guys are going to take a while to reach me. I'm going to pass some turns. Maybe hope that... Oh, wow, that's going to hurt these... Yeah, halberds. Yeah, unfortunately, the halberds. I was always being shot at by almost everyone. Yeah, it's a bit of a theme going on here, isn't it? So yeah, unfortunately, the halberds are not having a fun time. I wonder why. I wonder why the halberds are not having a fun time. Is it because they're being shot at by everyone? Surely not, surely not. So yeah, if I should probably spend some money on a banner of mist on the halberds, but you know, I always like forget about it, and then by the time that I realise it's a bit too late, isn't it? So yeah, here we are again with the halberds being taken as, you know, meat shields by everyone. So it's really nice to have a lot of these archery units, because just dealing damage based on quantity over quality is very cool. So I might just move these guys slightly back, maybe, to avoid conflict with the dwarf miners, because the dwarf miners really don't joke around. So there we go, that's the flying machine, and it's again going to target the halberds. The halberds really don't get a break here, do they? You know, it's always day in, day out getting shot at and flamed and just abused by all these ranged enemies. Really unfortunate. And now, yeah, the Imperial Archers are going to get charged by the Elf Chariot. We'll see what happens, won't we? Yeah, it looks like the Elf Mage isn't going to be charging us, which is a bit unfortunate. Maybe the Chariot will charge the halberds instead. We'll have to see. It's a bit of a, you know, I guess, unknown factor over here. I don't know who's exactly going to be charging who. So that's really nice. Got rid of that guy. So I am just going to straight up move by, yeah, Griffin up here and charge the cannon, basically, because there's no reason why I can't. Just get rid of them from range, and okay, maybe that wasn't the best idea. I really wasn't expecting the cannon to shoot me. Okay, yeah, at least we saved most of those, but yeah, still, that's not ideal. I should have probably thought through this a bit more. So maybe I could do something like this and get a shot off on these guys. Probably not. Oh no, I can in fact get a shot off on the Chariot, which is really cool. I wasn't expecting that, that's for sure. So right then, and then maybe I could turn around and in fact throw a fireball off as well. That'd be really interesting, wouldn't it? Because yeah, I was definitely not expecting to have some sort of angle on these guys. Very nice. So fireball, maybe, maybe not. And no, unfortunately that's not a fireball angle. Okay, I guess I could shoot the flying machine, and that does in fact get rid of it. That's quite big, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna shoot the dwarf miners as well. So that's very nice as well. And yeah, what do I have to talk about? So there was a new Netflix series for Lara Croft, and it wasn't great. It wasn't great. From what I've seen on the internet, a lot of people have got a lot of grievances with the show relating to the character. No, it's just doesn't feel like Lara Croft in their opinion. And yeah, it's really interesting because Netflix, they made the Castlevania series, so Netflix can definitely do quite good adaptations from video games and stuff like that. So the fact that they failed with the Lara Croft adaptation is really interesting, that's for sure. Definitely wasn't expecting that. I'm going to give skill to these guys because they really have to hit the Chariot. So let's hope that they do in fact hit the Chariot and they don't mess this up, because you never know. They might just fail, which is definitely a plausibility. I can't actually hit this cannon. Even though it shows that I can hit it, I can't in fact hit the cannon, which is just really unfortunate. But here we are, I guess. It doesn't really matter. So yeah, biggest problem with the series was the fact that for some reason Tomb Raider, which is well known for the dual pistols that Lara Croft likes to use, yeah, for some reason she doesn't use the pistols in the show, which is really interesting, you know. The whole point of Lara Croft, you know, a Tomb Raider fighting curses and other stuff, and she doesn't use what she's known for, which is really weird. So let's save this. Yes, very nice. It saved absolutely nothing. So here we are, I guess. I'm going to try to get a side charge off over here, but I'm first going to try to get rid of the Elf Mage with some spells, because that's a lot easier to do than, you know, try to charge in there and have a dragon on dragon fight. That was quite nice, a 5 and a 5, I guess, on the dice rolls over here. So yeah, very cool. And then I can obviously move past. No, that doesn't give me a charge that I like. Right then, yeah, this is where I'm basically going to be sitting, because I don't want to move up and get myself into a bad position. So here we are. Very nice indeed. Let's hope that we get rid of the Chariot, and yes, we do in fact get rid of the Chariot. Let's see what else I have to talk about. Yeah, so there was a research paper made by Apple into LLMs, large language models, and basically the paper was searching how smart, I guess, the models are, because Apple's biggest problem, biggest question was, are these models actually sentient, or are they just basically using answer data in order to, you know, create an algorithm to give you the best type of pattern, I guess, rather than just straight up answering a question. And what they found was kind of worrying. They basically did these researchers, and they found out that basically if you have like a question like 10 apples minus 5 apples, and then you were to basically try to confuse the model by saying yesterday you had 15 apples but today you have 10 apples, you sold 5 apples today, how many apples do you have left? It would really mess up the AI basically. The AI would basically get really confused, and it wouldn't be able to answer how many apples it basically has at the end of the day, because it'll be using the apples that I had yesterday, 15 minus the 5, and then plus 5 or something like that. It'll basically be slightly confused. Yeah, that's what it found out, and that's a really big problem, because it basically shows that instead of actually finding answers to your question and stuff like that, it basically uses an algorithm to find the pattern that you're basically asking for. And yeah, that's not what you want out of these algorithms. Ooh, that's gonna hurt, isn't it? Come on, yeah, okay. As I feared, it really hurt the wizard, but here we are. Okay. I'm gonna basically use a fireball on these guys, and then I'm just gonna... They have Banner of Mist, what? What do they have? Like, what? Yeah, I guess that's not something for me to charge, I guess. Sturdy. Ignore movement penalties, fearless. Yeah, it's because they're in the forest, probably. Yeah, that's why. Yeah, the forest does in fact help them, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. Cool. The worst case scenario, I charge it to the side of the dwarf binders, but best case scenario, I don't have to do that, and I can just in fact, charge it to the side here and charge it from the front over here. So cool. And that got rid of those two. That's really nice. I'm gonna start stepping back. There's no reason for me to go into melee against these guys, because going into melee is just unnecessary wastage, I guess. Very nice. So I guess I could charge the Imperial Wizard in and buff up these halberds, and then after I buff up the halberds, I can hex. Yeah, I can use obviously the +1 skill on the halberds, and then I can use the hex on the dwarf binders unit, which should hopefully allow me to absolutely demolish them, which would be really nice. Because that is the goal of this, to absolutely demolish the enemies. Ooh, who are they firing on? Yeah, the halberds. Yeah, they've literally haven't seen a single, like... Yeah, haven't been... Well, I guess they did charge that chariot, I guess. The chariot only dealt, like, 1 damage, so... Literally, like, from 2 rows down to 1, and it's entirely from range, so... Yeah. Bit unfortunate for these guys, isn't it? The halberds. Basically, everyone's punching bag. Really, really unfortunate. I guess these guys aren't in the forest anymore, so I can... Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, But, yeah, they did get 5s and 6s. Like, that's a bit ridiculous, isn't it? That they got such good rolls. Let's hope they don't get such good rolls again. And, yeah, okay. Yeah, it's just really unfortunate with the rolls. We're not getting lucky enough. Oh, well, I guess the enemies are just getting lucky. And we're not... Yeah. Either we're not getting lucky and the enemies are getting lucky. It's one of the two. Maybe both. But both at the same time. So, yeah. But then let's hope that I can deal with the cannons and or something like that, because this is really not looking good for me, and I'm going to get charged in the back by these guys as well. So it's just not good. Not good whatsoever. Let's hope I did get rid of the cannon, and yes, come on. Yes, cool. That's really big. That is in fact really, really big for me. So I could charge these guys in the side and prevent them from charging me in the back. Okay, that's very nice. Yeah, sure, why not? I'll do that. And then obviously charge into here. Cool. Right then, yeah, it's not ideal, I'm not gonna lie, because we have Imperial Archers against the Dwarf Veterans, but, I mean, it's better than letting ourselves be charged, I guess. I mean, yeah, okay, it's okay, in my opinion. I'm just gonna buff these guys with Radiant Shield just to make sure they don't die. Or maybe I should have buffed up the Imperial Wizard, who knows? Who knows at this point? I definitely don't know. I have no plans left whatsoever. So yeah, after they found out the AIs had trouble with basically the same exact question, but slightly more complicated, and they basically found out, as you could probably tell, the research was, in fact, they didn't have as much self-awareness as people thought. So it's yeah, basically setting back the research a bit and showing that they're not as smart as they were, which comes in really problematic if you're thinking about like self-driving cars and stuff like that, because those type of vehicles, they really need to assess their situation of where they are, and based off of that they have to basically predict what they're going to do next, or make a decision on what they're going to do next. And if they can't adapt to a changing environment, it really hampers their ability to be deployed on the roads, because clearly they can't think for themselves. So It's a danger to people on the roads, which is kind of what I talked about, in some of my later videos or videos a while back, where these self-driving cars, they basically had like algorithms for what thing they should crash into and what thing they shouldn't crash into, and that wasn't good for anyone on the road. And yeah, it caused a lot of issues, and if they had to be programmed for every single little new thing that appeared on the roads, it basically meant that every single country had to have their own app with their own markings and road signs and stuff like that, and it was just really problematic, and yeah, just not good overall. Just gonna lower the power of these guys and their defense to hopefully get most of these attacks through. We'll see how well it works out, but I have hopes that we could deal with them. And yes, that's very nice. Look at that damage coming in, and they're still in there. They're still in there. That's okay. It's okay, I guess. I mean, yeah, sure, why not? Why should I care who gets good rolls and who doesn't? Let's see, what else do I have to talk about? So yeah, Patreon. Yeah, it was banning comic creators, and it was really interesting because it was not the not safe for work content creators on Patreon that were getting banned for their comics. It was just like ordinary people, and yeah, it was just Patreon having biases on content creators. And yeah, it was just really, really disingenuous, I guess. Yeah, I just don't really like that, I guess. Patreon picking sides, and yeah. To be fair, they should apply their laws equally, but it's a bit like OnlyFans at this point, A lot of Patreon's income comes from the not safe for work sector, so yeah, it's really not as egregious as OnlyFans, but it is getting a bit up there. So yeah, give the Radiant Shield to the Imperial Archers to hopefully keep them slightly alive, so then maybe I can get rid of the Dwarf Veterans. But yeah, Dwarf Veterans have 8 discipline, it's really hard to rout them. They've got enemies routing this turn, that's really cool. So there we go. Next turn we'll be doing a bunch of elite fights, and we'll be doing the Act 3 boss, so be sure to stay tuned for next episode. And yeah, let's do this. Yeah, Fearless, why not? I mean, these guys... make sure they stand to the very last man, even though they usually get destroyed before they even get into melee. So no, I don't know how useful that will be. Take money on these guys, money on this guy, runes on these guys, and money on this guy. Cool. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you next episode. Bye bye.